Hey guys, Demolition134 here, and today we are taking a look at the Transformers Prime Robots in Disguise Voyager class Ultra-Magnus. Now, Ultra-Magnus is a very good figure, but he is not without its flaws. And I'm going to get into that right now, just right off the bat, just get it out of the way. Then we can start focusing on the good parts of this figure. Now, my main gripe about this figure, to be honest, is the plastic quality. Now, honestly, I've felt like the plastic quality of the Transformers lately have been just deteriorating. But this one just seems to be one that's, you know, very noteworthy because it doesn't feel like a proper quality product. It does feel very cheap, to be honest, and that's not a good thing. In fact, I've already broken off the peg that actually is supposed to hold this piece into place. That's snapped clean off. This side, it's okay at the moment, but honestly there are a few little stress marks there, and I've got a feeling that's going to be snapping off fairly soon. But yeah, very poor quality of the pegs around here, and honestly just the way everything sort of fits together, it's just, I don't know, there's just something about it that just doesn't seem, you know, right, and that's kind of a shame because honestly, if the plastic quality was that little bit better, this figure would be excellent. I really like the design of this figure. I think, you know, just the way it transforms and just the way it looks is definitely really cool. But the plastic quality does let it down just a little bit by being just a little bit shoddy. Nothing too major, but I felt it's something that I want, you know, to point out, and hopefully helps you guys make a decision on whether you want this figure or not. But anyway, let's take a look at the weapon here. He comes with sort of this really weird sort of mech tech hammer thing. You got to sort of like push this piece, and then you can actually flip this bit up, and it will lock into place. This is one of the only Transformers Prime mech tech weapons, or weapons that actually locks into place. I believe it is. I think it's the only one. Correct me if I'm wrong, but honestly, I like the fact that they've actually made a locking mechanism for it. But honestly, it looks a little bit dumb, to be honest, and the green light's pretty stupid in there. I think it works better as a gun, to be honest. I just think it looks, you know, much cooler as a gun, or sort of a, I don't know, fire hose, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, I'm fairly happy that they actually found a way to get that to lock in. It also comes with one little rocket here, which you can either peg onto the side of the gun or hammer, or you can peg it onto various holes in the vehicle mode. You can shove it here on the side there, you can put it on the roof just up here, or you can have it on one of these pieces that stick up just there. And honestly, it's pretty cool, very Ultra-Magnus like, but there's not a lot to do with it, to be completely honest. I mean, it looks kind of silly on the side of that, so it's just sort of there, and there's not really a lot you can do with it. But I'm griping for the sake of griping now. On to Ultra-Magnus's features. He has a very nice Autobot symbol on both sides here, so very cool. We have some translucent sort of plastic here, nice silver paint apps. Now there are no painted wheels, unfortunately. We have some silver paint on here, grey plastic, boo, boring. But that's really about it for Ultra-Magnus. He has a nice red painted roof, which is pretty damn cool. But yeah, honestly, that's about it. So let's get him transformed into his robot mode. The transformation for Ultra-Magnus is fairly simple, and is in many ways similar to the Cyberverse one, especially the way the arms transform. But anyway, let's get to it. So what we're going to do is we're going to come back here, we're going to split the leg section here, unpeg the arms, and you know, you got to be very careful with this because the pegs are very brittle, as I already mentioned. Then we're going to just sort of get this out of the way, come around to the front here, split this section like that. Then we can just sort of pull everything out, and this is kind of a pain in the arse, but once you get it done, it's not too bad. Yeah, pull that out like that. Then we can extend the legs like so. Take these little pieces, flip them inwards like that. Then what we're going to do is going to take the wheels, unpeg them from the side here, rotate them up, and they basically just wrap around his leg and sort of peg in there. Then you can flip out his foot just there. Do the same again on this side, unpeg this entire section from here, rotate it around, wrap it around his leg, and there is a leg, not the foot. And there are his legs. I actually kind of like the way these transform, and they are fairly bulky in robot mode. Then what we're going to do is, if I actually adjust my camera, Then we can just open up this entire section here, take this, fold it down, flip this little bit up like that, and that will just sort of rest on his back. It doesn't really peg in, it's just sort of there. Then what we're going to do is going to come around here. Now this is where it is fairly similar to the Cyberverse figure, with the way the arms sort of fold around like that. Well, the shoulder pads anyway. The arms are a little bit different. Then what we're going to do is flip out the hand, and just rotate this panel around like that. And there is Transformers Prime Voyager class Ultra-Magnus in his pretty damn cool looking robot mode. Now here is Ultra-Magnus in his robot mode, and honestly he looks pretty damn badass if you ask me, very Ultra-Magnus like. Now there are a few gripes again in this robot mode, but they are outweighed by the good things, but still there are a few little gripes. Unfortunately, up here are ball joints for the actual shoulders. Now you may think, you know, what's the problem? But this weapon is very, very heavy, and he's actually unable to hold it up properly. Yeah, you can sort of put it in his hand, and the ball joint just isn't strong enough for you to have him to hold it, you know, up in any sort of cool looking pose. You can basically have it like that, and that's about it. And even still, that still pulls it down, and you can't have the arms sort of sat level. It's honestly, it's a pain in the arse, and I really wish they'd gone the way of the ratchet joint. But yeah, you can't do a lot with it. I mean, yeah, that kind of sucks to me. Also, another little bit of a problem on the arm here. These little panels, these really don't feel that sturdy, and honestly they feel like they could break quite easily. That's about it for the actual flaws of the robot mode, but honestly I really do recommend you guys take this into account when going out to purchase this figure, because obviously you don't want to be spending, you know, in excess of £23 to actually get a figure that sucks ass. This figure doesn't suck, I'm just saying. It is possible that on other copies might be a little bit worse, and obviously you don't want to spend you know, a lot of money on something that could potentially break in the future. I was lucky, I managed to get this fairly cheap from Argos for £15. But now that we've got all the bad points out of the way, let's take a look at the good points, because these got quite a few. Ultra-Magnus looks like Ultra-Magnus, and it is a new mould. Finally, we've actually gotten a new mould for Ultra-Magnus. This very rarely happens. It's normally just a white repaint of Optimus Prime, but no, new mould, and he is looking pretty damn cool on your shelf. Not exactly for playability, but on your shelf, he looks pretty damn badass if you ask me. We also have a very, very cool looking head sculpt, and I really like that. I would really like to see Ultra-Magnus actually show up in Transformers Prime. Hopefully we'll get him in Beast Hunters Season 3, but we don't know. We have a nice Autobot symbol on the chest there, some red paint apps. A little bit of translucent plastic just there. You can see the Autobot symbols on his forearms again. So pretty damn cool. He has a little bit of a white sort of dot there. I don't really know what that is. Yeah, a bit boring grey plastic. We have some silver, a bit more grey. So there is a fair amount of paint detail. It's not too much, but he does compensate with quite a bit of moulded detail, so nothing too major. For a quick comparison, here he is next to his Cyberverse counterpart. Now you can see that the Cyberverse one has been done in much darker blue than the Voyager class one, and honestly I prefer the colour of the Cyberverse one, because it's a much nicer looking blue. It's much nicer to look at. This blue, it's okay, but it's honestly, I really prefer the Cyberverse one in my opinion. Now you can see that the Cyberverse one does come with an actual hammer. Unfortunately we have this thing. But yeah, there they are, just so you can get an idea of you know, the two. You can see that the shoulders on the Cyberverse one are very, very similar to the Voyager. So yeah, pretty cool. But that is it for Transformers Prime Robots in Disguise Voyager class Ultra-Magnus. Now honestly, in my honest opinion, I think this is a good toy, but there are a few problems with it. So honestly, I'd get him on clearance if I were you. I wouldn't play top dosh for this guy, because he's honestly, I don't feel like he's that worth it. But he is still an excellent figure nonetheless. I really do enjoy messing around with him. And like I said, I got him on clearance, so yeah, the problems didn't bug me too much. But I feel like it's just, I should inform you guys before you actually go out and buy it, just in case, you know. Just want to make sure you're all informed. But that is it for my review of Ultra-Magnus. So I thank you guys for watching, and take care.